This is example 2 in lesson 4-7, where it says if the original cost of some business property is C and it is depreciated linearly over n years, then its value V at the end of T years is given by this formula. We want to solve this formula for n in terms of V, C, and T. Now when it says solve for n, that's basically saying we want to get n all by itself. And so we've got to notice first that we are solving for a variable, and so we work backwards. Instead of doing please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, we need to work backwards and use someone at Domino's made excellent pizza. So any addition or subtraction needs to be undone first, unless it's inside the parentheses, which it is inside the parentheses. So what we have to do then is any multiplication or division, again, unless it's inside the parentheses. So what has to happen here first is that we have to undo the multiplication by C, and of course the opposite of multiplying by C is to divide by C. So I'm going to divide both sides of my equal sign by C, and that allows me to cancel these C's. Now there is no need for the parentheses. And so now we go back to someone at Domino's that made excellent pizza, and we undo any addition or subtraction first. Now think of this minus t over n as plus negative t over n. So what we have added to that fraction that contains n is 1. So what we need to do then is undo that addition of 1 by subtracting 1 from both sides of the equal sign. That'll give us v over c minus 1 is equal to negative t over n. This one's a little tricky, which is why I wanted to include it in my list of examples, because the variable that we're solving for is in the bottom of the fraction. That's not good. We want to get it out of the bottom by moving it to the top. That can be simply done by just multiplying both sides of the equal sign by n. And what happens is that allows us to cancel these n's. And what we have now is n times the quantity v over c minus 1 is equal to negative t. Now keep in mind our overall goal here along the way is that we are trying to get n alone. So we ask ourselves what operation is occurring with that n. And at this point in time, n is being multiplied by that quantity, v over c minus 1, so we want to undo that multiplication by that quantity by dividing by that quantity on, of course, both sides of our equal sign. That will allow us to cancel the v over c minus 1 over here that's with the n, and now notice n is alone. And what we end up with then is that n is equal to opposite of t all over v over c minus 1. That is a perfect stopping point because we do in fact have n all by itself.